Welcome to my classroom. In this chemical process calculation course, in this model, we have been discussing about material balance in chemical reactions, or we can say material balance in reactive systems, where a chemical reaction is involved. In the previous lecture, we have discussed about various concepts on this particular topic, material balance in reactive systems, where we have seen what is a reactant, what is stoichiometric ratio, what is stoichiometric coefficient, how fractional conversion or percentage conversion is defined, and we have seen what is single pass conversion and overall conversion when there is a recycle stream, when a purging is taken out, right? So what is recycle stream, what is purging stream, what is mixed feed, what is mixed output from a reactor, and we have seen the ratio of recycle ratio, what is a recycle stream by fresh feed, all that we have seen, right? And also we have seen that there is a case where separator after the reactor can simply act as a dividing the stream into various. In that case, all the product coming out of the reactor, products and the recycle stream, purging stream, all will have the same composition. Whereas there is, if a pure product is taken out from the separator, in that case they may not have the same composition. So depending upon the case, we have to carefully solve the numericals. When you are considering these unit processes, there are several examples like combustion, oxidation, recovery of metal ores, or chlorination, hydration, hydrogenation. So that way, first type we are going to discuss about is combustion of solids, liquids, and gaseous fuels. Combustion is important reaction which, as a chemical engineer, we will be coming across in our most of the courses, because in most of the power plants or thermal power plants, solid fuels or liquid fuels or gaseous fuels are used to generate electricity, right? So for this production we have that. So mostly the heat recovered from it will be used to produce electricity, but that will be releasing lot of flue gases, because oxygen is supplied in the form of air. So that way, when oxygen is there, whatever is depending upon the contents present in the fuel, depending upon carbon content, depending upon hydrogen content, depending upon ash content, depending upon moisture content, depending upon sulfur content, then depending upon nitrogen content, so there will be a lot of toxic emissions will be there in the flue gases. That's why this analysis of these flue gases are important. That's why in case of combustion of solid, liquid, and gaseous fuels, flue gas analysis plays a major role, because that is flue gas analysis, like determining the composition of the various products that are present in the flue gas. Because depending upon that depends upon the what is the type of reaction that is taking place, what are the side reactions taking place, what is the raw material, what are the constituents of the raw material, right? So that way we will be determining the flue gas analysis in this case. And flue gas analysis includes moisture content in the flue gas. Flue gas may contain reactants, products, a reactant in the sense unused reactants, products, and moisture. Okay, so that will be present in flue gas analysis. Whereas if we say ORSAT analysis or ORSAT analysis, it will be also considering the composition including unreacted gaseous reactants, inerts, excluding the moisture. So if we exclude the moisture that we determine in the flue gas analysis, that is equivalent to our ORSAT analysis. Okay, so then there is if it is a solid fuel, we have proximate analysis of coal, where proximate analysis will list the composition of moisture, volatile matter, ash, and fixed carbon. What do you mean by this fixed carbon? It is calculated like 100 minus moisture plus volatile matter plus ash. Whatever is the rest of the constituent other than moisture, volatile matter, and ash are called as fixed carbon. Okay, then versus proximate analysis, there is another analysis called ultimate analysis, where we will be expressing the composition of the coal as the percentage of weight of the individual elements like carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, etc., including ash. So that kind of analysis is done to give you the composition. So all of them. So with respect to combustion, mostly we will be concerned about what is the composition of the flue gas that is leaving the system, or in this we will be determining what is the percentage excess air used, what is the theoretical oxygen demand, what is the actual oxygen demand, like that we will be determining. Okay, we may also, if all the excess air percentage is given, we may be determining the what is the composition of the flue gas, like that. Okay, so that way this composition of solid, liquid and gaseous fuels are important in this chemical reactions, or you can say reactive systems. Another system which is widely used is sulfur related products. Okay, oxidation of sulfur is an important reaction because sulfuric acid is one of the widely used chemical. So for production of sulfuric acid, so sulfur first sulfur dioxide will be formed. So that way sulfur being burnt or sulfur being oxidized to form sulfur dioxide are very familiar, particularly in contact process sulfur SO3 is formed. There is another example called iron pyrites is burnt in air. Okay, so in that case, this we will be having FeS2 plus 11 oxygen gives you FeO3 plus 8 SO2. So if it is 15 oxygen, when there is a large amount of oxygen present in the system, then we will have a reaction like 4 FeS2 plus 15 O2 will give 2 FeO3 plus 8 SO3. Okay, so that is, these are some of the familiar reactions in this particular sulfur related products. Okay, so another important thing is limestone. We have seen that calcium oxide, magnesium oxide are being widely used, right? So that way calcium carbon dioxide product will be produced from this limestone. Okay, so if you consider calcium carbonate plus carbon plus oxygen will give calcium oxide plus 2 CO2 CO. Similarly, magnesium carbonate plus oxygen will give you magnesium oxide plus carbon dioxide. So that kind of reaction analysis also to be performed. And we have other important reaction called as phosphorus related compounds. So for reactions involving phosphorus and phosphorus compounds, where calcium phosphate will react with silica to form phosphorus, yellow grade phosphorus, and further it may be reacted to form red grade phosphorus. Okay, so that is preparation of phosphorus, or you can say that trisodium phosphate reactions also listed here. So they are also important in this kind of phosphor related product production. And another important subcategory of chemical engineering is this metallurgy, where ore is recovered, ore is taken out from the ground, and from the ore by oxidizing or performing some reactions, we will be taking out some of the metals out of it, right? So that way we can say that from iron ore we can get iron from it, right? So that way several metals can be recovered from its ore which is obtained from naturally, right? So another important reaction is like ammonia formation or nitrogen related products, like if from nitrogen we will be producing ammonia or nitric acid. So such reactions also very important. You can see that actually nitrogen exists in 8 oxidation states, right? So that way these reactions are, there are several intermediates will be formed. Those reactions are more complex. Okay, so still we can do material balance including involving these nitrogen based products. Okay. And another important chemical industry is chloralkali industries. Okay, hydrochloric acid production. Next to sulfuric acid, hydrochloric acid also widely used. So hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, nitric acid are widely used acids in the various industries. So that way that the demand for them are huge. Okay, so we can say that reactions taking place, for example, in the chlorine production is NaCl plus water gives NaOH plus chlorine, or hydrochloric acid reacts with oxygen to form water and chlorine. So such reaction analysis we can perform. Another important example for chemical reactions in chemical industries are hydrogenation, hydration or oxidation, where you can say that vapor phase oxidation of methanol is done to produce formaldehyde. Okay, we are going to do some simple numericals, as well as we will move towards solving the numericals involving recycled stream also. Okay, so we will practice this problem. Get ready with your calculator and notebook. You try to practice it, because practice only makes one perfect. So the more we practice, easier for us in exams to get the correct answer. Because if you don't practice, even you know the procedures, it will be difficult if you are missing the brackets, because while solving the numericals in the practice itself we should know how to use the calculator, because if you just look at the video and just get the you said think that you get the answer, while using the calculator also we make several errors, because we have to follow the BODMAS rules in while using calculator. Numerators mean together we have to calculate, denominator we have to calculate together, or how to proceed with it you will get to know when you practice it yourself. Okay, that is more important. That's why I insist you to practice the numericals, not only for this course, any course. Always when you practice the problem, it will be easier for you to get the right answers also. Okay, so now let us solve some numericals. When pure carbon is burnt in air, it gets oxidized to CO2 and CO. When pure C is burnt in air, it gets oxidized to CO2 and CO. If the ratio of nitrogen is to oxygen, if the ratio of nitrogen and oxygen is 7.20, if the ratio of nitrogen and oxygen is 7:2 and that of carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide is 2 and that of carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide is 2 in the flue gases, calculate the excess air used. Calculate the excess air used. I repeat, when pure carbon is burnt in air, it gets oxidized to CO2 and carbon monoxide. If the ratio of nitrogen is to oxygen is 7.20 and that of carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide is 2 in the flue gases, calculate the excess air used. Okay, so we know the reaction taking place is carbon is becoming carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. So let us first write the reactions taking place. C plus O2 giving CO2, C plus of O2 becoming CO. Then let us consider a basis of 1 kg of carbon is burnt. Let us say that in that there are two reactions taking place parallelly, right? So let us, if out of this 1 kg, if x kg is converted into carbon dioxide, what will be the amount of carbon monoxide formed? That will be 1 minus x. Here also we are assuming 100% conversion, right? So in this case, if out of 1 kg of carbon taken, two products, it's involving two reactions. First reaction, carbon dioxide formation. Second reaction, carbon monoxide formation. So if x kg is out of 1 x kg is converted into carbon dioxide, the amount of carbon monoxide formed is 1 minus x kg. Okay, so we can, from the reaction, first reaction C plus O2 giving CO2, we can write 1 kg mole of C reacts with 1 kg mole of oxygen to form 1 kg mole of CO2. Okay, so then we can say that if you multiply by the respective molecular weights, what we will get? So we have molecular weights of carbon 12, oxygen 32, carbon dioxide 44. So multiplying by the respective molecular weights, we get 12 kg of carbon reacting with 32 kg of oxygen to form 44 kg of carbon dioxide. You can see the material balance here. 12 plus 32 is 44. Okay. So that is general. Now carbon reacts to form CO2. Therefore, how much kg of carbon reacts to form CO is 1 minus x kg. So that is the way we have seen. So we can say x kg carbon will react with x into 32 by 12 kg of oxygen to form x into 44 divided by 12 kg of CO2. I repeat, the ratio is 1:1:1. There is no issue. So we get by multiplying by molecular weight, we have 12 kg of carbon, 32 kg of oxygen and 44 kg of CO2. So we are getting x kg of carbon reacting. Therefore, when you multiply throughout by x and divide by 12 throughout, we get what are the corresponding oxygen requirement and carbon dioxide requirement. So we can say oxygen requirement is x into 32 divided by 12, so which will come around 2.66x kg of oxygen. Similarly, we can say how much CO2 is formed. It is 3.66x kg of CO2 formation in So this is the case with reaction 1. You can do the carry out for reaction 2. What is happening? For reaction 2, similarly, what are the kg moles? It is same. 1 kg mole of carbon reacts with 0.5 kg mole of oxygen to form 1 kg mole of carbon monoxide. Okay, so here it is 1 minus x kg. You can see multiplying by the molecular weights. So it is going to be 12 kg of carbon reacting with 0.5 into 32 is 16 kg mole of oxygen to form carbon monoxide. 16 plus 4, 28 kg of carbon monoxide. Okay, now we are considering 1 minus x kg of carbon. In that case, it is going to be 1 minus x into 16 divided by 12 kg of oxygen. Here 1 minus x 28 divided by 12 kg of carbon monoxide. So what is 16 by 12? 16 divided by 12 is 1.33. You can say 1.33 kg of oxygen will form 1.33 into x. Okay. Similarly here 28 by 12, which is again 2.33 into 1 minus x kg of carbon monoxide is formed. Okay. So we have oxygen required for reaction 1 is this much kg. This is the amount of theoretical oxygen demand for reaction 1. So this is the theoretical oxygen demand for reaction 2. Okay, so that will let it be there. Now we will get into some data is given in terms of flue gases. Right? It is given flue gas ratios are given. Please note down. It is mentioned the ratio of nitrogen is to oxygen is 7.2 and that of carbon monoxide is carbon dioxide is 2 in the flue gas. So that way we will with that from there we will start solving the problem. Okay, it is given that in the flue gas, what is given? It is given flue gas stoichiometric flue gas as nitrogen by oxygen, which is 7.20. Okay, and it is also given that CO by CO2 is 2. Okay, so CO2 now this date now we have in terms of x, right? So that way we can write how much kg of CO2 is produced, how much kg of CO is produced. Okay, what is the amount of CO produced? Amount of CO produced already we have calculated. How much CO to produce is equal to 3.66 x kg. 3.66 x kg, right? 3.66 x kg is CO2 formed, and CO formed is equal to how much? CO formed is 2.33. Here we have. Okay, so here we have CO2 formed. Here we have CO formed. Okay, so that is 2.33 into write down 2.33 into 1 minus x kg is the amount of CO formed. Okay, what is our basis here? We have taken a basis of 1 kg, out of which x kg of carbon has reacted to form carbon dioxide, and the remaining 1 minus x kg of carbon has reacted to form carbon monoxide. So from the stoichiometric reaction, we have written how much, what is the ratio of the kg moles multiplied by the respective molecular weights. Then we have multiplied by x and 1 minus x for the reaction 1 and reaction 2 respectively to find what is the amount of carbon dioxide formed in terms of x. What is the amount of carbon monoxide formed in terms of x. Now we have the ratio. Okay, so now we are having this ratio and this ratio is given. Okay, but what we have to do is let us write it in terms of moles. Okay, so already we multiply by molecular weight, but still here what I will be doing is I want to do it in this because flow gas analysis is ratio is given. Okay, so we have to convert substitute them in terms of kg mole ratio. So if in terms of kg moles, so what we can do is dividing by the molecular weight. Dividing by molecular weight, what is that molecular weight of carbon dioxide? 44 kg per kg mole. So we get kg mole getting kg getting cancelled and this much kg moles, or I can say 0.083 x kg moles. Okay, Here when I multiply by this is what is carbon monoxide molecular weight, it is 28 kg per kg mole. So you get kg getting cancelled, so you get it is 0.1 minus x kg mole, right? What we have is 1 minus x. Okay, so substituting, that will be equation 1, 2 and 3. Substituting 2 and 3 in 1, so what we get is 0.083 into 1 minus x divided by 0.083 into x equal to 2. Simplifying, what we have is 1 minus x by x equal to 2. So 1 minus x equal to 2x. So what we get is 3x equal to 1. Therefore x equal to 1 by 3. 0.333. Okay. So x value we get x equal to 0.333. Okay, that means amount of carbon which has formed CO2 is this, right? So that way we can find out the CO2 and the CO values now. Similarly, so we have two reactions. In reaction 1, we have oxygen used is oxygen for CO2 and we have oxygen used for CO formation. And we have got oxygen equal x value we have determined, x equal to 0.333 kg. Okay, so what we got is x equal to 0.333 kg. So now we have x value and we have oxygen used for two reactions. So first reaction, what is the oxygen used? We have 2.667 into x plus 1.33 into 1 minus x. Okay, so that is the oxygen used for our reaction. So total oxygen used, that is total theoretical, or actually here it is actual, total oxygen used in the reaction in two reactions is equal to oxygen used in this first reaction plus oxygen used in the second reaction. So you can substitute the value of x here, 2.667 into 0.333 plus 1.333 into 0.667, you can say. If we substitute, we'll get around, use your calculator and let me know. So you will get 1.77 kg. So this is the amount of oxygen used in two reactions. Now let us say, what is air? So if we want to talk about air, air contains oxygen and nitrogen in ratio of 21% and 79% in mole percent. So this is oxygen in kg used in the reaction. So what we can do is we can divide by its molecular weight. Oxygen molecular weight is 32 kg per kg mole. So what we get is this much kg moles. So determine the value. So you will get around 0.055 kg. Okay. Some nitrogen will be present. See, remember what we should know is oxygen. To supply oxygen, we are supplying air. So nitrogen, and we know the proportion in which they will be present, right? In mole percent, air will contain this much in oxygen, this much nitrogen, right? So that is the thing. And whatever is the amount of nitrogen entering air, nitrogen in feed air will be present in exit air, or you can say in flue gas. Okay, so that way, whatever is the, but what about the oxygen? Whatever is actual oxygen supplied, it will, what will happen? Some will be consumed in the reaction. What will be consumed reaction? Theoretical amount. Whatever is the theoretical oxygen demand, that will be consumed. So what will be coming out? that excess oxygen or unused oxygen will be present in flue gas. So this concept we should know. That is, this is important that we should know that whatever is the amount actual air entering, okay, so that will contain 21 mole percent of oxygen and 71 mole percentage of nitrogen. And nitrogen present, whatever is the amount of nitrogen present in the feed will not be consumed in the reaction unless it is specified. So that is behaving like a inert. Same amount goes out like in the flue gas. But what about the actual oxygen supplied? We actually need a theoretical requirement of oxygen. So whatever is excess, that will remain as unused oxygen, unreacted oxygen. So that will be present in the flue gas. So these two, so we have to subtract the oxygen that is consumed in the reaction to get what is the amount of oxygen that is unused in the system. Okay, so that with it in mind, if you start writing what is given, nitrogen by oxygen is given. Oxygen, what is the amount of carbon dioxide formed we have determined. Okay, so that can be written now. What is the amount of CO2 formed? What is the amount of CO2 formed? We have formula already. We have determined it to be 3.66 into X. So we can write this much kg of CO2 is formed. Okay, what is the amount of COG formed? It is 3.66 into 1 by 3. So how much? And if we divide by its molecular weight, 44 kg per kg mole, you will get this much kg mole of CO2 formation. Okay, I repeat, we have CO2. So the CO2 formed is 3.66x. X value we have determined, that much kg of CO2 is formed. To convert to kg mole of CO2 formed, to convert kg mole of CO2 formed, divide by its molecular weight 44. So use the calculator. Yes, 3.66 into 0.33 divided by 44 is equal to 0.0277. 0.0277. This is the amount of kg mole of CO2 formed. Similarly, what is the CO formed? CO formed is equal to 1 minus x into 28 by 12. Right? So we have the value of x now. So 1 minus 0.33 into 28 by 12 will give us the kg mole of CO formed. What is that? 1.555. 1.556 is the kg of CO formed. So kg mole of CO formed is, what is the kg mole of CO formed? It is 1.556 divided by molecular weight 13, 16 plus 12, 28 kg per kg mole. So we will get this much kg moles. What is that? 1.556 divided by 28 is equal to 55.58 into 10 power minus 3. So we can say 0.055 kg moles. Okay, that is the amount of this formed. CO formed we have, CO2 formed we have. Now question is, what is the oxygen present in excess? determine this excess here, all that, we have to consider the total feed is getting converted into 100% conversion. That is how we calculate the theoretical oxygen demand, right? For that, what we will consider is, we will consider 1 kg of carbon reacts with 1 kg mole of oxygen to form 1 kg mole of CO2. Therefore, if we multiply it by its respective molecular weights, we have written that 12 kg of carbon reacts with 32 kg of oxygen to form its molecular weight 44 kg of CO2, right? So that from that only we have to consider, because we are considering 100% conversion. That is, for the reaction of C plus O2 becoming CO2, we are considering 100% conversion into CO2. In that case,
12 kg mole
12 kg of carbon will react with 32 kg of
12 kg of carbon will require 32
okay.
kg of oxygen for its complete combustion, right? C plus O2 becoming CO2. This is for complete combustion. Usually for complete combustion, if 1 kg of carbon is there, how much oxygen is required? We can say how much oxygen is required. We can say 1 kg mole of carbon will require 1 kg mole of oxygen. That means 12 kg of carbon will require theoretically 32 kg of oxygen. Okay, so in this case, how much you can say? So therefore, if there is 1 kg, we are having our basis is, in our case, we have 1 kg. Therefore, 1 kg of carbon will require 1 into 32 divided by 12 kg of oxygen, which is equal to 1 into 32 by 12. How much? 2.66 kg of oxygen. And if I divide by its molecular weight of oxygen, 32 kg per kg mole. So I have 0.083 kg mole is the oxygen here for 1 kg of carbon. So we have, for 1 kg of carbon, we need 0.083 kg moles of oxygen. Okay. I repeat, to determine how much oxygen is required for complete combustion, we are writing this: 1 kg mole of carbon will require 1 kg mole of oxygen. Therefore, 12 kg of carbon will require 32 kg of oxygen. In our case, it is basis is 1 kg of carbon. For in that, if you consider complete combustion, then amount of oxygen required is 1 into 32 by 12, which is 2.66 kg of oxygen. So dividing by its molecular weight 32 kg per kg mole, we get 0.083 kg moles of oxygen. Okay. Then now we are going to consider, let Y be actual oxygen. Okay. So let Y be actual oxygen. Then, so if Y be actual oxygen supplied, then actual oxygen used is equal to 0.083 into Y kg mole. Okay. So how we are telling this Y is the actual oxygen? It is like 50% is used. 50% is there, that Y is equal to 1.5. If 100% is used, then Y equal to 2 times, right? So that is the thing. This is our theoretical oxygen demand. So what is actual oxygen demand? We are multiplying by using this thing. Okay. So we can say what is the corresponding oxygen nitrogen demand also. Actual nitrogen used is equal to 0.083Y into 79 by 21. Because for 121 mole of oxygen, I can write here, for 21 mole of oxygen, corresponding nitrogen will be 79 moles of nitrogen. Okay, so whatever it is, kg mole means kg mole. So therefore, for this much oxygen, we have 0.083 by Y, and this is equal to 0.3122 Y. Okay, so this is our actual oxygen. This is our actual nitrogen used. and the X value we have already determined. Actual oxygen used is y into 0.083, and corresponding nitrogen is 0.083 y into 79 by 21, which is 0.3122 y. Okay, so this is the kg mole nitrogen, and we have earlier determined 0.055 is the amount of oxygen consumed in the reaction. Oxygen consumed equal to 0.055. So therefore, what is the amount of oxygen present in the, if this is the amount of oxygen used, remember same nitrogen is present in flue gas. What about oxygen present in flue gas? This is equal to, can say, actual oxygen used, which is 0.083 y, minus oxygen consumed in the reaction. We have calculated it. It's not given data, we have recently calculated, which is 0.055, and this is the 0.3122y is the amount of nitrogen present in the flue gas. So this is this much kg mole oxygen is present in flue gas. Okay, so now data is given. What data is given is the ratio of mole ratio of nitrogen by oxygen is given to be 7.2, and what we have is nitrogen values 0.3122y divided by 0.083 into y minus 0.055, which is equal to 7.2. Okay, if we solve this equation for y, you will get the value of y. Okay, how to solve it? Cross multiply. You do it yourself. So what I can do is I can take it to the right hand side. So this left hand side is 0.3122y equal to 7.2 into 0.083y, 0.083 y minus 7.2 into 0.055. So simplify, you get this value, and this value can be taken to one side. So what you get is 0.2854y is equal to 0.396, therefore y equal to 1.387. So what is that 1.387 means? It is 1 plus 0.387. What does it mean? It is 38.7 by 100. Okay, so this is theoretical, plus this is the amount of actual excess air used. Excess air used is equal to 38.7 percentage. Okay, so this is the amount of excess air used. Remember, nitrogen, we have seen oxygen, nitrogen, air, right? Oxygen plus nitrogen constitute air. If I say oxygen used is 50% excess, it means that proportionally 50% there will be excess nitrogen, therefore proportionally 50% excess air. That's why even though we determined this using oxygen values, what we got is excess air percentage. Okay, so that is what asked in the question.
Problem. Say for example, you are owning a company and a health environmental engineer in the pollution control board comes in. There is a personal animosity between us. So he may just charge us that the flue gas that is coming out of the small factory is beyond the statutory limit. That is your limit is beyond what is specified. It is against the city code. So why not we penalize or take action against you? Like that they give a complaint, right? So in that cases, this kind of analysis, so your flue gas analysis will help you to tell you what is the content of CO2 present in the flue gas. This is one such problem. Please take down. An inspector files a report against a factory owner charging him that CO2 content of the gases leaving the chimney rises above 15%, being dangerous to health and against city code. The factory owner burns natural gas containing 100% methane CH4 and the air supply is adjusted to provide 130% excess air. Is the inspector's charge correct? I repeat the question. An inspector files a report against a factory owner charging him that CO2 content of the gases leaving the chimney rises above 15% being dangerous to health and against the city code. Actually, the factory owner burns the natural gas containing 100% methane and the air supply is adjusted to provide 130% excess air. Is the inspector charge is correct? Let us solve this problem. Okay. Okay, in this problem, it is given that the feed contains 100% methane. Okay, the feed contains 100% methane. The feed contains 100% methane and excess air percentage is given. Excess air percentage is 130%. Okay, these are the two data given and we know that air contains nitrogen and oxygen in the ratio of 79 mole percent and 21 mole percent. So we have to choose a basis. So no values are given. So for whenever material balance involving chemical reactions, we should take kg mole basis as easy case. Okay, so we can take 1 kg mole of natural gas as the feed. Natural gas is the feed with 100% methane. 1 kg mole of natural gas. Okay, and it contains 100% methane. That's given. So what is the reaction that is taking place? First write that chemical reaction that is taking place. If a combustion is taking place using methane, methane reacts with oxygen to form. I told you whatever may be the hydrocarbon products are carbon dioxide and water. Please do this stoichiometric balance. So how much is NO2 is there, how much water will be formed. Carry out it yourself. And I can tell that 1 kg mole of methane. Have you balanced it? How much oxygen to balance? 2. Here 2. Okay. So we can write kg mole balance. 1 kg mole of methane reacts with 2 kg mole of oxygen to form 1 kg mole of carbon dioxide plus 2 kg mole of water vapor or steam. Okay. So what we can say is we have taken a basis of 1 kg mole of basis. Then we can directly tell what is the theoretical oxygen demand. Theoretical. What is the theoretical oxygen demand? It is 2 kg mole of oxygen. Okay. And it is given that 130% excess air is used. 130% excess air is used. So we can say that actual air used is equal to theoretical oxygen demand. Theoretical oxygen demand is equal to 2 kg moles. Therefore, actual oxygen demand is, well, I have told you last example itself, if Z% is the excess air used, then actual oxygen demand is equal to Y into theoretical oxygen demand, where Y is equal to 1 plus Z by 100. Okay, so this we should keep in mind. Okay. Okay. So here it is given what is the percentage given, excess air given. It is given that it is 130% extra. So our Y is equal to 1 plus 130 by 100. What is that? 1 plus 1.3 equal to 2.3. So are we clear about it? If excess air percentage is given in Z percentage, then we will get Y as the 1 plus Z by 100. That is whatever is the Z percentage, we will write as Z by 100. That is 130% by 100. So that is 1.3. So you will get 1 plus 1.3, which is equal to Y as the 2.3, which is the
a multiplying factor for actual oxygen demand and theoretical oxygen demand. So you can say that 2.3 into theoretical oxygen demand is 2 kg moles. So we get how much? Use your calculator. 2.3 into 2 equal to 4.6. 4.6 kg moles of oxygen. So this is our theoretic actual oxygen required. So can you tell what is the air used? We can tell that actual oxygen, we know air contain, we already explained air contains 79 is to 21. So therefore that is nitrogen and oxygen ratio in air, right? So what we have is actual air is 4.6 kg mole. 4.6 kg mole will contain how much nitrogen? So that is 4.6 into 79 by 21, which is equal to, calculate, so 79 divided by 21 equal to 3.76 into 4.6. So what do you get is 17.3. 17.3 kg moles of nitrogen. Okay, so we have 4.6 kg mole oxygen entering the system and 17.3 kg mole nitrogen entering the system, right? So total air is equal to 21.9 kg moles. You see air quantity. So why we have written this is whatever is the nitrogen that is entering the system will be present in the flue gas, right? So that way we can write the flue gas analysis now. Okay, we can write the flue gas analysis. Now we have 4.6 kg mole is the kg mole of oxygen entering the system, and whereas theoretically we want only 2 kg mole. And what is the amount of oxygen, unreacted oxygen? I will write first point. Nitrogen entered as feed will be equal to nitrogen in flue gas. Okay, and what about oxygen? Oxygen entered will be equal to oxygen consumed in the reaction, which is nothing but our theoretical oxygen demand. Okay, plus oxygen in flue gas. Okay, so oxygen entered is your actual oxygen. This is your actual oxygen demand. This is our theoretical oxygen demand. So both we are having 4.6 equal to 2 plus what is this amount? We can find out, right? 4.6 minus 2 is equal to 2.6 kg mole is the amount of nitrogen that will be present in the system. Okay, so we have whatever is the nitrogen that has entered, which is 17.3, that will be the nitrogen content in the flue gas. 2.6 kg mole of oxygen will be present in the flue gas, right? Now other than that, what will be there? How much kg mole of methane is consumed? How much kg mole of CO2 is formed? That also can be answered by looking at here, right? So we have 1 kg mole of CO2 being formed and 2 kg mole of H2O being formed. So that will be present in the product. Okay, 1 kg mole of CO2, 2 kg mole of thing. What is the amount of methane present in the product? We have considered 100% conversion. Therefore, the reactant present in the flue gas will be 0. So that way we can write the flue gas analysis. So that is the way to perform flue gas analysis. Whatever is the reactant, you can say constituents, kg moles, mole percentage. Okay, so we have methane. Do we have methane in the kg moles? No, because 100% conversion. because it is 100% gas and there is no reactant in the flue gas. If it is not 100%, definitely we will have methane. I am writing in this problem because in the future problems that we are going to solve, we should know that there will be reactant present in the flue gas. Okay, here it is 100% conversion, it is 0. Okay, what about the product formed? Product formed is, what are our products? CO2 and water. How much CO2 has formed? 1 kg mole. How much water has formed? 2 kg mole. Remember, our basis is 1 kg mole. If you have taken 100 kg moles as the basis, we are going to have 100 kg mole of CO2 and 100 kg mole of water. That's why we have gone for 1 kg mole of basis. Okay. Now coming to the thing, what are the remaining things? Excess oxygen and nitrogen, that is the inert content. What was the unreacted oxygen? 2.6. This is the excess oxygen. What was the nitrogen entering the system, which is 17.3 kg moles? What is the total? 22.9. Okay. So that way now we can calculate the percentage, mole percentage. What is mole percentage? 1 divided by 22.9. This is 2 divided by 22.9. This is 2.6 divided by 22.9. This is 17.3 divided by 22.9. Multiply by 100. All multiply by 100. You will get the percentage. Please use your calculator. 1 divided by 22.9 equal to into 100. What do you get is 4.36 percentage. Amount of CO2 is 4.37. I can make it. Okay. Similarly, 2 percentage is 2 times of this. It should be right. So 8.74. This is 2.6. You get 11.35. 75.54. Okay. So that will be, you should check the total comes to be 100%. Okay. So this is the flue gas analysis. So remember, we have included moisture in the flue gas analysis. If they ask you what is Ursat analysis, you will ignore this. Without this water, we have to again make the material balance. If you reduce 2 in the same composition, if you ignore these 2, your total is not going to 22. Your total will become 20.9. So with the 20.9 as the denominator, the composition will change because your denominator is changing. This mole percentage will change. So Ursat analysis, composition, and flue gas analysis, composition will not be same. Now coming to the original question, what we have done is we have done the flue gas analysis and found out that mole percentage of CO2 in the flue gas is only 4.3 percentage. CO2 in flue gas is 4 point, how much? CO2 value is 4.37. Okay. Okay, but when you are considering the CO2 percentage, we have to consider it to be dry. Dry in the sense total should be 20.9. Okay, let me keep it like CO2 formed is 1 kg mole. Okay. CO2 in flue gas on dry basis. So that is 20.9. Okay. So 20.9 1 into 100 is equal to how much? 1 by 20.9 into 100. Calculate. 1 into 100 divided by 20.9. So what you get is 4.78 percentage. 4.78 percentage is what we get. This is the flue gas analysis. Tells us on dry basis we get it is only 5%. What was the inspector charge? He was telling it is beyond 15 percentage, right? So CO2 is 4.78 percentage, whereas the permission limit is 15 percentage. Therefore, inspector's charge is false. The inspector has made, hence the inspector has made false charge on the factory owner. Okay, permissible limit is See, in this question, it is given permissible limit of CO2 is 15%. Okay, whereas our flue gas analysis, particularly here it is RSAT analysis, gives us 4.78% as the CO2 present in the flue gas. Okay, so therefore the inspector has made a false charge on the factory owner. Okay, so that is how we have to determine the required parameter. Particularly in this, what we have done is flue gas analysis. Also, you can do this ORSAT analysis because this solution what we are determining is completely based on dry basis. So what I can say is, so that means if I say ORSAT analysis, so we should ignore that one. Methane 0 in the product. We have CO2, water should be ignored. So then you will have only oxygen and nitrogen. So total is your 20.9. CO2 formed is 1, 2 is to be ignored, 2.6, 17.3. So you get 20.9 kg moles. Okay, mole percentage is, so 1 divided by 20.9 into 100, which is 4.7%, whatever it determined recently. So complete this part also. Okay, so total should be 100%. So that is our answer. Okay, what this is extra ORSAT analysis percentage because we have determined it separately. CO2 in flue gas on dry basis, and dry basis in the sense without moisture content, right? So that is 1 divided by, this is 1 kg mole, 20.9 kg mole is the total kg mole excluding water. So kg mole getting cancelled. So we are getting answer in percentage. Okay. So the final, what is the sentence we have tried? Hence the inspector has made a false charge on the factory owner. Okay. So in this problem we have to perform flue gas analysis and ORSAT analysis. So take down this problem. A natural gas containing 80% methane, 15% ethane and 5% propane. Natural gas containing 80% methane, 15% ethane and 5% propane is burnt with 50% excess air. 50% excess air. Assuming that 90% of carbon is present in the hydrocarbons are converted into carbon dioxide and the rest is converted into carbon monoxide, determine flue gas analysis and ORSAT analysis. Assuming 90% of the carbon present in the hydrocarbons are converted into carbon dioxide and the rest is converted into carbon monoxide, determine the flue gas analysis and ORSAT analysis. Come on, solve this. See, to solve this problem, either you can consider 1 kg mole as basis or 100 kg mole as basis. In the previous problem, I have considered 1 kg mole, where I have to convert the composition is not given because 100% it is given. So now it is given that the different composition is given and percentage of the composition. Earlier it was a pure methane problem. So I consider 1 kg mole. Since now it is a mixture of gas containing 3 components like methane, ethane and propane. So I will consider 100 kg mole as basis. You can even consider 1000 kg as basis, or like a practice you can do your last 3 digits of your roll number multiplied by 100 and solve the same problem. Okay, I am taking 1000 kg mole as 100 kg mole as basis. So in this problem it is given that feed is containing 80% methane, 15% ethane and 5% propane. So we have gone, since composition is given in 80%, since composition is given like 80% A, 15% B and 5% C, where A, B and C are, A is methane, B is ethane and C is propane. So I am going to take a basis of 100 kg mole. Remember we are doing material balance in reactive systems, that is with chemical reaction. So instead of taking as kg as basis, we are taking kg moles as basis. 100 kg moles of feed, which is natural gas. Okay, so natural gas composition is given Okay, so that means that what is the kg mole, what is the amount of methane then? Then we have 80 kg moles of methane, 15 kg moles of ethane, and 5 kg moles of propane. So this is the amount we have. Okay, so the amount of A, B, and C are 80, 15, and 5 respectively. This much kg moles are present. Remember, what will happen to C present in it? What will happen to H present in the natural gas? What are the various reactions that are possible? So what will happen to the what will happen? What are the reaction? I have told you in general carbon dioxide and water will be formed, but in this problem there are three different reactions. So I can tell you that in this we'll do in atomic basis. Okay, atomic balance we will do and do that one. Okay, so in general, what will happen to C present in this one? Either it can form CO2, or you can say half O2 will give carbon monoxide. What will happen to hydrogen? Hydrogen will react with oxygen to form of H2O. So these are balanced. So it is given in the question that 90 percentage of natural gas reacts to form carbon dioxide. It is given. Okay, and the rest is converted to carbon monoxide. Okay, so these are the three reactions that is taking place in this system. Okay, there are two ways to solve this problem. Earlier problem we have considered only one component was there, so we went with writing the extent of the reaction, that is how much has consumed, like that, right? So here we will consider like in terms of carbon and hydrogen what is happening. So the for that we have to determine what is the atomic how many atoms are present in each in the natural gas. Okay, let me calculate the number of atoms. This is the second approach. Previous problem was one approach. This one is different approach. It is given that CH4 is present, C2, H6, C3, H8. And what is the moles? Number of moles? It is 80 moles, 15 kg moles. Okay, 15 kg mole and 5 kg moles. So how many atoms then? How many atoms of carbon will be there? So here 1, right? So you can say 1 into 80. 1 into 80, there will be 80 atoms. This is 2 into 15. You can say 2 into 15, there will be 30 atoms of carbon. C3, here 3 into 5. How much? 15 atoms. So totally how many atoms of carbon will be present in this natural gas of 100 kg moles? So in 100 kg moles, there will be 125 atoms of carbon, right? Similarly, you could do it for hydrogen yourself. So and tell me how much is the total. You will get 450 atoms of hydrogen present in this one. How to do? Calculate 4 into 4 per kg mole. You can say 1 kg mole, right? So 4 into 80 kg mole here. So 4 into 80, 320. Here 6 per kg mole, totally 15 kg mole. 6 into 15, 15 6 are 90. 8 into 5, 8 into 5, 40. We will get 450 atoms of hydrogen. So we can consider, so out of this 125, out of this 125 atoms are there. So we have to find out what is happening in the system. Okay, so you can find out the theoretical oxygen demand. Okay, so how to find theoretical oxygen demand? If you are considering theoretical oxygen demand, we will not consider two reactions, right? So to determine theoretical oxygen demand, we will consider 100% conversion to CO2, right? So that way, when there are C plus O2 giving CO2, we have to consider how many atoms. So if there are 125 atoms, how much CO2 will be formed? Okay. So theoretical oxygen demand is 125 plus for this hydrogen also, no, how much? Hydrogen plus of oxygen, it's water, right? So here 1:1, here 1:half, right? Half or quarter in terms of hydrogen. In terms of H, how much? In terms of H2, this is the ratio. In terms of H, we can how we can write? We can write like half H2 plus 1/4 oxygen will give half water, right? So this is the ratio, right? So that is called, this is equivalent to H. Here directly we have C. So they have 125. Here we have 450. So you can tell how what is the theoretical oxygen demand. TOD for first reaction plus TOD for third reaction. So means here let me say equation 4. Okay. So this also let me not call it. Let me say 5. Yeah, already we have written 1, 2, 3 reactions properly. This may be repetitive of one. Still here I am writing that. Okay. So here it for 125, how much is required? How much is required? Theoretical oxygen demand is 125 kg moles. Okay. 125 kg moles for this reaction plus 450 into 1/4. So you can tell me the total. Use the calculator. 125 plus 450 into 0.25. How much? 237.5. 237.5 kg moles. Okay. So this is our theoretical. So these are all in kg moles because this 5, this is in kg moles. So this we will get in kg moles. 450 kg moles. Okay. So we have 237.5 kg moles. Then what is the oxygen entering? Now we know total theoretical oxygen demand. So now we have theoretical oxygen demand. Okay. So again I'll write it in detail. If Z is the percentage excess air, then Y is equal to 1 plus Z by 100. Okay. So in this problem it is given that the percentage excess air is 50%. Please check. 50% excess air. So what is Y? 1 plus 50 by 100, which is 1.5. So your actual oxygen demand is equal to Y into theoretical oxygen demand. So our theoretical oxygen demand is 237.5 and Y value is 1.5. So what we get is 1.5 into 237.5. Already we have the value in the answer calculator. So answer, okay, 237.5 into 1.5 is equal to 356.25. 356.25 kg moles of oxygen. This is oxygen demand. Okay, so actual oxygen demand is this much, 356.25 oxygen is entering. So this is one important thing we should know. Is that is percentage excess, Y equal to 1 plus Z by 100. So Y into TOD gives us actual oxygen demand. Another thing we should know is air contains nitrogen and oxygen the mole ratios of 71:21, sorry, 79:21, right? So in this ratio, we should find out the corresponding nitrogen value. So this is the oxygen entering. This is your actual oxygen demand. That means like actual O2 in feed is 356.25 and actual nitrogen in the feed is equal to, we know that here now we have 356.25. What is the corresponding nitrogen value? That is 356.25 into 79/21. Got it? Cross multiplication by division. So we get actual nitrogen entering into the system is 356.25 into 79 divided by 12. Sorry, 79 divided by 356.25 into 79 divided by 21 equal to 1340.178. 1340.18. 178 we got, you can round it to 2 digits. So this much kg mole of nitrogen is entering. Okay. So now we can go for analysis, right? How to go for analysis? So how to go for analysis? So whatever is the nitrogen that is entering, but we have calculated the nitrogen leaving the system, so we can find out that. So we have what is the oxygen amount, what is the nitrogen in the flue gas, what are the products formed. We will have products formed as CO2, CO, oxygen, nitrogen, then else what? Water, right? So these are the products for flue gas. And similarly, if we want to do the same for ORSAT analysis without water, so both we have to do. So nitrogen is 1340.18. Oxygen is, what is the amount of oxygen? Whatever we have considered the reaction here, this is for determining our theoretical oxygen demand. But what we are having is reaction here. Now we have to focus here. Now we have determined the number of atoms also, how much carbon atoms are there, how much hydrogen atoms are there. Now we have to solve it to get the what is amount of CO form, CO2 form and water form. So now what we are having is total carbon formed is 125 kg mole. Total hydrogen formed is 450 kg mole. And it is given that 90% of carbon is getting converted into carbon dioxide and 10% of carbon is getting converted into this thing. So out of 125, 90% of 125, how much? 0.9 into 125 is equal to 112.5 kg mole of carbon. Out of all, it is, that's why it is mentioned, out of all carbon that is available, 90% is getting converted to CO2. Not, that's why 90% of C. No, we should not say 90% of natural gas. 90% of carbon is getting converted into, carbon present in the natural gas is converted into this. 10% of carbon present in the natural gas is converted into this. So we can say remaining is out of 125, 125 minus 112.5, how much? Or you can say 0.1 times 125 is going for CO reaction. For CO2 reaction 90%, for CO reaction how much carbon is entering in either way, either 125 minus 112.5 or 0.1 into 125, how much? 12.5. We can say 12.5 kg mole of carbon available will be converted into carbon monoxide. Okay, and how they are formed? 1:1 ratio. So that way, that much kg mole will be consumed. Okay. Similarly, what about this water? Third reaction. So water is there. For whatever atoms hydrogen is there, half of it will be formed. Half of it will form water. So you can say hydrogen is to water ratio is 1:0.5. Since these are 1:1 ratio, so this is 1:1 ratio. We are getting same amount of CO formed. Okay, I should actually write it separately. 1 kg mole of carbon will form 1 kg mole of CO2. Therefore, 112.5 kg mole of C will form 112.5 kg mole of CO2. That's over. Similarly, 1 kg from reaction 1. From reaction 1, this is from reaction 2. And say 1 kg mole of C will form 1 kg mole of CO. Therefore, 12.5 kg mole of C will form 12.5 kg mole of CO. Okay, similarly, what is the third reaction? 1 kg mole of hydrogen will form 0.5 kg mole of water. Therefore, 450 kg mole of hydrogen will form half of it, right? 0.5 into 450, which is 225. 225 kg moles of water. So this we should take into analysis. Okay, so that 112.5, 12.5, 225. Okay, so this way we should able to write the analysis. We'll check it how much we are getting. CO2 is 112.5, 12.5, water is 225. So this should be added to the flue gas analysis which we are writing. Okay, so flue gas writing, flue gas analysis can be written that CO2 is equal to how much CO2? 112.5 kg moles. CO is equal to 12.5. Water is equal to 225. Okay, listen. To find out the flue gas analysis, to do flue gas analysis, we already determined how much CO2 has formed, which is 112.5. CO formed is 12.5. Nitrogen that was entering was 1340.18. Water is 225.5. But we should be careful about this oxygen because this is like what we found for TOD is different. We can consider 100% CO2 formation, right? But what is actually happening? 90% only CO2 formation. 10% is consumed for CO formation. So that way actually CO2 consumed in the reaction. So oxygen consumed in the reaction will be different from what is our theoretical oxygen demand. So we cannot subtract here. Flue gas required is equal to AOD minus TOD, but it is AOD minus oxygen consumed. Okay. So what is this amount? Let us see. So what is the reaction we have seen already? Reaction 1, 2, and 3. From reaction 1, 2, and 3. In the first reaction, C is to O2 formation is 1:1 ratio. That is 1 kg mole will react with 1 kg mole of oxygen. So how much CO was there for the first reaction? It is 112.5 kg mole. Okay, so therefore oxygen required for first reaction is 112.5 kg mole of oxygen. This is for reaction 1. For reaction 2, it is C is to half O2. That is 1:0.5 ratio. How much carbon is available for second reaction? 12.5 kg moles of carbon is available for second reaction. Okay, so that is 12.5 is to how much? We can say divide by 2, right? That is 12.5 into 0.5 divided by 1, right? So which is equal to 6.25 kg mole of oxygen. What we are doing is cross multiplication, 12.5 into 0.5 by 1. Okay, ratio proportion method. 6.25 kg moles of oxygen is required. So what is the total oxygen consumed in this reaction? So total, no, there is one more reaction. What is that? Reaction 3. What is that in that? In that, how much oxygen is required? So we have H2 versus oxygen usage. So out of 450, we have already calculated that also, I think, right? So it is like 1:0.25 ratio, which is actually we have 450. So 450 into 0.25 by 1 will give us 112.5 kg moles of oxygen again. So we have 3 places oxygen is really consumed here. Okay, some random number I'm giving, 8, 9, 10 means from 8, 9 and 10 what we get is actually oxygen consumed in the 3 reactions. Okay, so reaction 1 oxygen, reaction 2 oxygen plus reaction 3 oxygen, that is 112.5. This is one thing, 6.25 and again we have 112.5, totally 231.25 kg moles of oxygen is consumed in the reaction. Okay, so I repeat, what is the actual oxygen consumed in the reaction? Oxygen consumed in the reactions or first reaction, it is in 1:1 ratio. We have 112.5 kg mole of carbon available for first reaction, which is 1, so that way 1:1, 112.5. Here we have C is to 1 is 1:0.5. We add 12.5 percentage, 10 percentage of total carbon available is 12.5, out of which half it 6.25 kg mole of oxygen is required for it, right? So third reaction is 1:0.25. In terms of hydrogen, we have 450 kg moles of hydrogen, so that way 450 into 0.25 we get 112.5. Okay, so summing these three we get what is the actual oxygen that is consumed in the reaction. So this is the amount of oxygen that is consumed in the reaction. What is that? 231.5. 231.5. Therefore, what is the oxygen, excess oxygen? Excess oxygen is equal to 356.25 minus 231.5. How much? 356.25 minus 231.5 equal to 124.75. Okay, we can call it as 124.75. Okay, this summing these values, now we will get flue gas analysis. So flue gas analysis is 112.5 plus 12.5 plus 124.75 plus 1340.18 plus 225, which you will get as around 1815. Let me say 112.5 plus 12.5 plus 124.75 plus 1340.18 plus 225, 1814.9. 1814.9, almost 1815 kg moles. Okay, can you express the mole percentage here? Total should be 100%. Okay, mole percentage can be expressed. What is CO2? What is this? Calculate 112.5 divided by 1850. You will get around, let me say I am just giving some rough value, you determine the exact values. You will get around 6%. It will be around 0.6%. Okay, 6.2 percentage. Remember, less than 1 percentage this is. Okay, the third one is 12 point, water is 12.39 percentage, and then we have oxygen is 125 around, so oxygen will be around 6.89. Nitrogen will be the majority, okay, because 73.83, because it is inert. Okay, so the inert composition will be more. Total we have to summarize to reach 100. Okay, so what is ORSAT analysis? As I said, if we have to do ORSAT analysis, we have to write the same thing: CO2, CO, oxygen, nitrogen, exclude the water. If you exclude water, it is ORSAT analysis. Okay, CO2 is 112.5, 12.5, 124.75, you can say 125, and then nitrogen 1340.18. So total is without water. So from the previous total 1814.9, if I subtract 225, I will get the total for this problem 1589. 15, you can say 1590. Okay, this much kg mole. So accordingly, you have to write the percentage. This is kg moles. You have to write mole percentage. Okay, so mole percentage, again total should be equal to 100%. Please write your own values. Complete this part. So you will get 7 around. I'm just giving an approximate because later people are asking what is the answer. It may not be correct, you can write the correct answers. Okay, so that is the required answer. Question was a natural gas composition containing methane, ethane and propane are given. They asked to report flue gas composition and ORSAT analysis. Okay, so flue gas analysis and ORSAT analysis what we have carried out. Okay, so that is the answer. Okay, look at this problem. A limestone analysis weight percentage as calcium carbonate 92.89%, magnesium carbonate 5.41%, inerts 1.7%. By heating it, we get oxides known as lime. Okay, so you can say by application of heat, we get lime. How many pounds of calcium oxide can be made from 1 ton of limestone? So there are 3 cases where we have 3 different bases. So we have reactant, which is limestone, and we have product, which is lime. Remember, both are, don't confuse it. Limestone is having calcium carbonate, magnesium carbonate, whereas lime has calcium oxide and magnesium oxide and inert. Okay, so that is the product. So with the first question, let me say reactant or product. For A part, 100 ton of limestone. So that means reactant is 100 ton, sorry, 1 ton. 1 ton of limestone. For B part, how much CO2 can be removed per 1 pound of limestone? How much CO2 can be recovered? That is the question, right? So here, how much CaO can be recovered? Here, how much CO2 can be recovered? And in third part, when P is equal to 1 ton, what is the reactant? Is the question. So we have 3 different cases. So better we get a solution for general case. We will consider a common general case. Whenever the composition is given in weight percentage, we will consider weight 100, right? Because the composition is given, it is easier for us if we consider a basis. Okay, a basis, let us take 100 pound, because we are given data is in pound only. Let us solve this problem in 100 pounds of limestone. So once we determine the answer for 100 pounds of limestone, easier for us to find for 1 ton what is the calcium oxide, for 1 pound what is the answer. For product in ratio method, we can get the values. Okay, so that way we will not do the problem 3 times, but 1 time we will do with the common basis of 100 pounds, 100 weight. that is here given in weight percentage, and the data is in pound and ton. So we can do the things in pounds only. Okay. Now we can assume all the reactions are taking place with 100% conversion is taking place. 100% conversion. Let us assume 100% conversion takes place. This is our assumption, because there is nothing is mentioned about how much is the reaction of A, B and all taking place. So we will say, we'll see what is the reaction taking place. Okay. You have seen the question. So we have, what are the reaction taking place? We have calcium carbonate reacting to form calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. Is it self-balanced? You can see there is 1 Ca, 1 Ca, 3 oxygen. Here 2 plus 1, 3. So it is self-balanced. So I can tell that. See, remember last problem we did in terms of kg moles, because we consider kg moles. Here this problem we are going to consider in terms of pounds. Okay. So we can say that 1 pound mole of CaCO3 will react with, or will form 1 pound mole of calcium oxide plus 1 pound mole of CO2. Similarly, we have reaction 1. This is reaction 1. Reaction 2 is magnesium carbonate reacts to form magnesium oxide plus CO2. Okay. So this I understood by looking at the diagram given. Okay, CaO, MgO are given in the diagram. CO2 is the other product. Totally I understood these are the products, plus inerts are there. So inert will be present in the feed, the same inert will be present in the product, right? So now we have ensured the stoichiometric balance is there or not. Here also you check CO3, there are 3, these things are balanced. Okay. Now let us find out the molecular weights of all these compounds, because all the compounds, calcium carbonate, magnesium carbonate, calcium oxide, CO2, all this we should know the molecular weight. Please determine the molecular weight of all these compounds. Okay, so that will be the first step before solving the problem. So let us determine the molecular weight of magnesium carbonate, molecular weight of calcium carbonate, molecular weight of calcium oxide, molecular weight of magnesium oxide, molecular weight of carbon dioxide. So you please determine. Remember that we know what are the units of molecular weight. I have told you that it can be kg per kg mole, or gram per gram mole, or if it is in these pounds units, we can say LB per LB mole. I can say pounds per pound mole. Okay, so that way there is no unit conversion between these three. These three are equivalent. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So you please determine the molecular weight in kg per kg mole, but you write as pounds per pound mole, because all are same. Carbon dioxide I will write 44. Magnesium oxide also easy. Okay, you can write. Please determine and write. Calculate it. Okay. You will get 40.32. Calcium oxide is 56.08. Calcium carbonate is 100. Magnesium carbonate is 84.32. Okay, so we have determined the molecular weights of these compounds. Now you can easy for us to convert it in terms of that. Okay. Now we have these values. Calcium carbonate composition in the feed. Okay, let us first write the feed composition. We have assumed 100 pounds of limestone, and it is given that you have 92.89%, 5.41% and 1.71%, right? So what I will do is, I will do the calculation feed composition in a tabular form because it is the given data, right? So it is given data for limestone. We should know what is the component, right? So a percentage is given. Okay, weight percentage is given. So weight percentage is given. That's why we can write directly what is the pounds because we have taken basis as 100 pounds. Okay, weight percentage is given 92.89, 5.41, 1.7. Okay, that is components are calcium carbonate, magnesium carbonate, and inerts. Okay, so inert we cannot calculate because we don't know what is the inert. If you know the inert only, we can write that. Okay, we can write the LB, but we cannot write this thing. So how much LB is there? So 1.7. How much is there? It is 92.89, 5.41. That is the advantage when I take a basis in 100 LB. Okay, so I can directly write the weight percentage as LB, and we know the molecular weights. Molecular weight we have determined, right? So molecular weights are 100.1, 84.32, and we don't know the molecular weight of this. Okay, so that doesn't mind because we are converting this to pound moles, pound into pound mole, only to consider the reaction taking place. Inert means it won't take part into the reaction. We don't need the data. Okay, so this is molecular weight is known, pound is known. So what is that? Mass is in pound. If I divide by molecular weight, pound per pound mole, I will get the answer in mass divided by molecular weight is moles. Okay, so that way you can determine and write the values of calcium carbonate and magnesium carbonate. How much? 0.9289. Please use your calculator. Check it whether you are also getting the same value. And also calculate. So 5.41 divided by 84.32. 64.16 into 10 power minus means 0.0642. 0.0642 rounded to 3 digits. I am getting 16. It can be written as 2. Inert we cannot write because we don't know what is the molecular weight of this inert. That doesn't matter. We know how much kg mole of calcium carbonate is there, and we are assuming 100% conversion. We are assuming 100% conversion. So this is for limestone, right? This is for reactant. Okay. So what will be the composition for product? I am continuing this for all the things. Okay. So in addition to this inert, what is happening? What are all there? So we will be having solid products. What are the solid products? We have calcium oxide. We have magnesium oxide. Okay. Including this inert, these all three will be in the. So these three all three will be present in the solid products, and there is a gaseous product. What is that? CO2. Okay. So all this will be present in the product. So they are not present in the feed. So we don't know what is their kg moles because they are not present. Okay. Now coming to the products, will there be let me write in terms of pound moles. How much pound moles are there in the product? Simple, you see. It is 100% conversion. Will there be any CaCO3? No. It is 100% conversion. There is no magnesium carbonate in the product. What about inert? Whatever, we don't know the amount in pound moles, but we know the amount in pounds. Okay. In terms of pounds, the same feed, whatever inert entered is 1.7 pounds. Okay, same amount will be present in the product. Repeat, whatever is the amount of inert that has entered here, that will be present in the product. And what about calcium oxide? 1 kg mole of 1 pound of 1 pound mole of calcium carbonate will form 1 pound mole of calcium oxide. That means here how much pound moles we are having? 0.9289. Therefore, how much calcium oxide will be formed? 0.9289. Similarly, 0.0642, 1 pound mole of magnesium carbonate will form 1 pound mole of magnesium oxide. Therefore, 0.0642 will form how much magnesium oxide? 0.0642. Same amount, no? 1:1 ratio. Okay, refer to the reaction. If you don't understand, you write it clearly here. I have written 1 pound mole of calcium carbonate will form 1 pound mole of calcium oxide. That is 1:1 ratio, which means 0.9289, 1:1 ratio. Therefore, 0.9289 into 1/1. So we get this much calcium carbonate is calcium oxide, right? Reaction 1. Similarly, for reaction 2, it is 1:1 again, right? Magnesium carbonate is to magnesium oxide is 1:1 ratio. Therefore, you can write in sentence how much magnesium carbonate is there in the feed? 0.0642. So you can write 0.0642 is to how much? 0.0642 into 1/1. So we get 0.0642. We get 0.9281. So that is a clearly, if we are understanding, we can directly write that. Okay. So, but you should write in sentence if you are writing here directly. 1:1 ratio products are formed. So we have written that. Okay. Same way, what is the CO2 produced? What is the amount of CO2 produced? That also we have to refer to the same reaction. So again, this also 1:1 ratio. Remember, everything is 1:1 ratio. 1:1 ratio. But what is the here? So CO2 formed should be from the reaction 1 plus reaction 2. So CO2 formed, total CO2 formed equal to CO2 formed in reaction 1 plus CO2 formed in reaction 2. Okay. So CO2 formed in reaction will be 1:1 ratio. You can put here also CO2. So we will get the same value, right? So that is 0.9281 plus 0.0642. Total is 0.992. So this much kg mole of, sorry, not kg mole. We are talking in terms of pound moles, right? That's why unit is important. Always write correct unit, appropriate unit. So, but anyhow, in table we already have it. So what is the value of CO2 formed is the summation of these two values, that is 0.992. Okay, this is our total moles, but we should know the molecular weight of these also, right? So I told you to calculate the molecular weight, that's why. What is the molecular weight of calcium oxide? 56.08. Magnesium oxide is 40.32. Carbon dioxide is 44. So what you can do is you can pound to pound mole is, for pound to pound mole, what we did is divide by molecular weight. Now multiply by molecular weight, because molecular weight is pound per pound mole. So these are all in pound mole. So when you multiply it, what we get is pounds. Right? Calculate and write the value. Complete this problem. You should get around 52. And our product also, because input is 100 kg moles, right? So our input is 100 pounds. Therefore, product also should match the total of 100 pounds. Okay. Now go to 3 questions. Now you focus on the question again. What is our question here? How many pounds of calcium carbonate can be produced, right? So now we have to see, remember, just now we have calculated the product composition only. As I said, we have done a case for general case. Now we have to solve for each problem. When there is 100 pounds, we are getting this much. Okay. So for A part, what is the question? What will be the Ca of calcium oxide formed, right? So from here you write for 100 pounds of limestone, refer to the table and write 100 pounds of limestone. What is the amount of calcium oxide formed? A calculator. 52 lb of calcium oxide is formed. Okay. So that you can write 100 pounds of limestone. What is the, and from the table? From table we can say, from the table of composition of products, feed, we have feed as well as products in the table, right? Total product is for 100 lb of limestone. How much product calcium oxide was formed? It is 52.04 pounds of calcium oxide was formed. So now the question is for 1 ton. Okay. So that is, what is the unit conversion? 1 ton equal to 2000 pounds. 1 ton equal to 2000 pounds. So we can convert that. So you can say for 2000 pounds, therefore for 2000 pounds, what will be the CaO formation? For 2000 pounds of limestone, CaO formed will be how much? Okay, so that is 2000 into 52.04 divided by 100, right? How much? 1041 pounds of calcium oxide will be formed per ton of limestone. You can write the answer like this, right? What you get is 1041 pounds of CaO. So that is equal to 2 per 2000. That's why you can say it is per ton. For 2000 pounds, what is the thing, right? Second part. So that is the answer for first part. Second part is, what is the question? Second part is, how many pounds of CO2 can be recovered per pound of limestone? For 100 pounds, we know now CO2 formed, we have already have CO2 formed per 100 pounds, we have answer, right? So for 100 pounds of limestone, CO2 formed is 44.65 pounds. Okay, CO2. So question is per pound. That is 1 pound limestone will contain how much lb of CO2? That is 1 into 44.65 divided by 100 is 0.4465. Pounds of CO2 per pounds of limestone. Okay, so I repeat, second part question was how many pounds of CO2 can be recovered per pound of limestone? It is, what we have calculated is for 100 pound basis, we have calculated total CO2 formed is 44.65, which is from the reaction 1 plus reaction 2, right? Then for question is for per LB, what is the CO2 produced? It is 0.4465 pounds of CO2 per this thing. Okay, so that is the B part. Now C part. Third part is, ignore this, it is showing by default. Third part is for 1 ton of lime product. So for product to be formed, what would be the this thing? But what is the product? Product is solid products. Okay, so solid product, how much we got for 100 lb of For 100 lb of limestone, solid product obtained is solid. What is solid product? Calcium oxide plus magnesium oxide plus inert. Okay, so we can sum the value from the table. Refer to the table again. So we have to sum this inert 1.7 plus 52.04 plus 2.59. Take the sum these three value 1.7 plus 52.04 plus 2.59. How much you get? Don't add CO2 because it is a gaseous product. What we are calculating is solid products. Okay, so we can add this value 52.04 plus 2.59 plus 1.7 inert. Total is equal to 56.33 pounds of solids. What is the solid product called? Solid product is called lime. Okay, so for 100 lb of limestone, I will tell you in other words, to produce 56.33 pounds of lime, we need 100 pounds of limestone. Here question is to produce 1 ton of lime. 1 ton equal to 2000 lb. 1 ton equal to 2000 pounds. Okay, so to produce 2000 pounds of lime, what is the limestone requirement? How much limestone is required? Easy, right? Let it be x equal to this. Calculate the value. So 100 is to this one. Let it be x. We have x into 56.33 equal to 2000 into 100. Therefore, x equal to 2000 into 100 divided by 56.33. Please report your answer in pounds. Pounds of limestone. How much pounds? You will get around 3000. I'll tell you general value. You will get around 3500 to 3600. In between, you should get a value. Okay. So you report to produce, you write the sentences. Okay, you write the answers in sentence. To produce 1 ton of lime, we get around 3550 pounds of limestone. Okay, so that is the answer for this question. In this lecture, we have solved a few numericals, and in the next lecture, we will solve numericals based on recycle, purging, all that also. Okay. Thank you for joining my classroom. If you have any doubts, please contact me. Thank you.